What's good, boys? I apologize for not posting as earlier as I wanted to. I've been coaching other people and doing some other things, so I'm sorry for not posting as earlier as I wanted to. But besides that, let's get into the video. Today, we're going to be talking about how to balance your life and how to balance Fortnite at the same time so you can maintain a healthier life while still playing Fortnite. Make sure, if y'all enjoyed this video, to like and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. So you can hit 300 subscribers, and I might do a special event during that time. But besides that, let's get into the video. When we're talking about spending time with family and spending time with others, the 3 days that you should be off or give yourself time to actually play the game that are excluded are a day before a tournament and the day during the tournament. So the day before, you should have that as a busy day, and then the day of the tournaments, you should also have a busy day. Any other days after tournaments or anything else, you can honestly spend time with more family. It'll give you more stability to spend time with more family if you're wanting to go pro, to maintain your Fortnite life and your outside life of Fortnite, and making sure that you're healthy on both sides of the world when you're trying to go pro. If y'all think that it's a little messed up to put tournaments before family, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you should have certain days where you should be focusing on tournaments, and some days you should be focusing on family. One is never above the other. Obviously, family is important, and you should make time for family, and that's why a day before the tournament and during the tournament is the main days you should be locked in on Fortnite. And that's all to be talking about health and things outside of Fortnite for today. We're going to be now moving on to drop spots and drop maps and loot routes on this season. For the new meta for this season, honestly, for SMGs, it's kind of preference. I mean, they both hit the same, pretty much, when I'm talking about range at least. But if you want like more stability, I'll probably go for the flex. For the ARs, again, kind of preference. Burst, I mean, it does like double tap, so that's what I mean by double tap. And I think it's more damage, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is a little bit more damage, just one. So not that much more damage than the Warforged. But the Warforged, it kind of has a lot of... Sorry, it doesn't really have much recoil, and it's really extremely fast. So even just looking at that, it looks honestly pretty insane. And honestly, I would say it makes up for the Chaos Reloader, to be honest, because that's like the worst AR to ever have in this game. So the main AR I would go for IGLs would be the Warforged, and for fraggers, the Big Flex. The only reason why y'all should have one SMG and one AR, because personally, I feel like this season there hasn't been much ammo at all, and I've been having to split my AR ammo with my SMG ammo. If y'all seen my live streams, we would always split AR and SMG and just trade those, because there's not that much ammo going around in the season. I really don't know if that's for like the upcoming solo FNCS during October this year, but there hasn't really been much ammo, so that's why I stick. One person has AR, one person has SMG, and yeah, that's gonna be it. Okay, now we're gonna be moving on to the only two shotguns that are actually good in this meta. I mean, honestly, this shotgun is good as well. Some people don't like it. I really don't know why. It kind of reminds me of the Gatekeeper, and it does more damage than the Maven. And honestly, I don't really see how there's so much hate on it. I don't know if it's like the magazine size or whatever. I mean, it reminds me of Gatekeeper. I don't know if that reminds anyone else of Gatekeeper, but it does more shots and is also long ranged. So like, honestly, I feel like it's like a very good shotgun. If you want to say Maven's better because it's an auto, you could also have a debate on that. But honestly, I feel like for consistency, I would say Maven. For like, if you're like really skilled, I would use the extending focus shotgun or the striker pump. Mainly, I'm gonna say striker pump because it has more magazine. So it has 5 rounds. This only has 3, and it does more damage too. And it's also literally faster. And that's mainly gonna go to the striker pump for the season. Alternatives, I'll probably go for Maven just because of the magazine size, and this only has 3 bullets. If you're really skilled though, I would go for these 2 shotguns. And that's gonna be it for this season shotguns. And let's move on to the next thing. We're gonna be moving on to how to actually rotate during this season. It's gonna be with this, obviously the same meta with the same overdrive grenades. But if y'all haven't seen my last video, I'll just show you now. So basically what you want to do when you rotate with your duo is obviously like mark what the place is, and make sure you don't open your cone to mark. Make sure just go to your map and just mark it from here. Otherwise you could potentially get sprayed or beamed by just marking there, you know. So make sure you go to your map and look at the terrain around your area, see any mountains that are familiar to what's in front of you, and just mark that place. And if you're wanting to rotate with your duo and you see it's on the left side and the left side's open or free to rotate around, you want to edit your cone like this for the left side and go on the left tile and edit it like that. The reason why you edit the cone like this, because it gives you more stability and it gives you more of an edge to go out this way, because this is going upward. So when I'm shocking right here, it's easier to go out this way. Same thing with the right as well. It would be the right tile and you would just go up this way. Both tiles, I mean obviously, you know, the regular both tiles on both. So make sure you match the top tile with the bottom tile and the bottom tile with the top tile. Now we're going to be talking about what you should do to practice for mid game and before a tournament and the day before a tournament. Making sure that you do 1v1s, 1v2s for solo and self-improvement, and making sure when you're doing these 1v1s and 1v2s that whoever you're playing against, y'all are giving each other information to help self-improve. For example, like if you do the wrong edit, the other person that is watching you because he killed you because of that edit should have been like, you should have done this edit, or you should like done a different edit than you did. Mainly if you did like a wide open edit or something like that. So just giving each other information back and forth when you're doing 1v1s or 1v2s really helps with self-improvement, instead of just blindly 1v1ing and without saying anything, because you obviously want self-improvement and feedback from others. So that's the main thing you should do when you're doing those 1v1s and 1v2s. Same thing for 2v2s. If you don't have enough chemistry, making sure that you're fighting together. And there's a certain way you should actually 2v2 when you're fighting an opponent. And I'm going to show y'all exactly what I mean right now. So basically, let's say this is the most healthy player right here, and this is a lower player. So we're going to reference these 4 walls as people, okay? So this would be my duo, hypothetically. If I got my kid low over here and I hit him for 100, I won't immediately go for the kill. And the reason why is this guy has more of a threat because he has more health than this kid, and this kid is probably going to be starting to pop heals or just like, you know, going to be taking time to heal up. So, and it also gives you a 1v2 advantage. So you have two people versus one, obviously, while this kid is still healing up. So make sure you finish the fight quickly from the player that is healthy, because he's more of a threat. And you're probably gonna have to watch your back, because he might do a sneaky shot on you. So whenever you're like going against this player, time from time, look at him, making sure he's not like doing anything sneaky or anything. So that's like the main way you should fight in a 2v2. So when you crack out one person 100, you should immediately go to the other kid that's more healthy and more of a threat. Also, doing ranked games, if I haven't explained this already, helps you practice your loot path and the way you're going, and practicing what you're getting for metal, what you're getting for brick, and what you're getting for wood mid during your loot path. I'll show you how to actually create a loot path, and showing y'all like the main things you should be looking out for when you are creating this loot path. And I'll also be talking about how drop maps are relative to the season, and if they're either good or bad this season. And I'll be talking about that later today. For late game, I would mainly focus on menu and vitals. Why not NA Open? Is because NA Open has recently created a rule where you cannot do off-spawn fighting, and you need to practice your off-spawn fighting, for one, because it helps with tournaments, obviously, when you're off-spawn fighting, and two, people might steal your loot while you're trying to farm up or trying to loot up during your loot path, and it'll just fuck you up the whole entire scrim. So mainly I would focus on menu and vitals if you have qualified through menu. And for EU, if you're EU players, obviously I think the only one I know personally, I'm sorry, I don't really focus on EU, is Nobles. So those are the only scrim servers y'all should actually be focusing on when practicing for late game. Now I'm going to be talking about one important thing before we move on to talking about drop spots, and before we move on and talking about how to create a loot path. We're going to be talking about how to actually balance your life in Fortnite at the same time. So basically, you obviously want to eat something before a tournament. Obviously, real food like a banana, an apple, or leftovers that are healthy before a tournament, to keep your mind stable and so you don't have to be hungry during a tournament. And always keep like water next to you, making sure that if you're thirsty, or just to keep your brain intact, making sure that you can think clearly. And also what comes with that is obviously good sleep. You don't need to stay up at 1 a.m. in the morning just grinding Fortnite. There's really no need for that. I would just go to bed on time, like 9 to 10 p.m. 11 is the max. Just to have a healthy brain and a healthy body so you can think clearly when you're playing the game. Also, I have NeuroGum. If y'all have probably seen this on TikTok or any other social media, it actually does work. The only thing wrong with NeuroGum, if I'm being honest with you, if you can actually overdose on NeuroGum because the amount of caffeine that's inside it. So make sure the max you can take is like 1 to 2 a day. Never take 3 or more. So when you're buying NeuroGum, only take 1 to 2 a day. And I only have 3 packs right now. The reason why I only have 3 packs, no one comes with 6, is because I gave my dad some, because he is mainly into business, and it helps him during workouts. It helps me during workouts, and it helps you focus on whatever task that you're mainly on. Not sponsored, by the way. And yeah, that's why NeuroGum is really a good supplement to have during tournaments and anything you're like mainly focusing on. Now we're going to be showing how you start on scouting and how to actually create your loot path and help you create your loot path. So you'll be going into like whatever division you're in, right? And going to like all of your games, The reason why is because you need to know the consistency on how conned your loop path is, and like if you're going towards a place where you get metal and a lot of people go around that area, you have to check how many people go around that area consistently. And you can also check other places how many people go that area consistently and unconsistently. So you can check on how contested is your loop route. You would just be looking around to see how many people go this area and whatnot. Probably want to do this more in early game than late game. Also, you're gonna be wanting to play your tournaments like a scrim, and what I mean by that is like as soon as fourth zone, the fifth zone hits, you need to be ready for endgame. You can't just like sit and storm like for too many zones and then just not be prepared for endgame, you know. So make sure that you're chill on fourth to fifth zone. So basically, you're looking around whatever area your spot is and how much contested it is, and you only want to do this in your division. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless. Because you know some people might go or not go there in those divisions. So you have to make sure each time like knowing where you're gonna go. For example, I have someone landing Frosted Flats that I'm coaching. So I would look at Frosted Flats and see where they would get metal, how conned it is when they get metal, and just be like scouting on where they go or other people go. Once you have that down, then you will be starting to create your drop map to show you where you get brick, wood, and metal and stuff like that. Alright, so after you have VOD reviewed and looked how conned it is at certain places, you would be starting a loop path. And this is my loop path that I created for Frosty for one of my duos that I've coached. So basically, IGO would obviously move here, and my frag is moving here. I used to have them go this way for metal, but after VOD reading some games and checking how conned it is over here, each and every single game, this is kind of a bad spot to go for metal. So I've switched their way to get metal. But first, let's just move along and look at these little things right here. So the IGO gets a lot of loot, moves over here with his fragger that has a ton of chests, and they'll rotate over here, get brick, making sure if you're creating a drop map to label these things as you go, and they would rotate down here and label this as metal. This is where they get some of their metal, and they would come down here getting the slurp truck, rare chest, and then come down here to get even more metal down here. So just looking at little things on the drop maps, Fortnite.gg, making sure you unmark all the unnecessary spawn things that you don't need and only mark the important things. You mainly want to be focusing on where things are, and basically just using these spawns, making sure you're only putting the important ones and excluding like all unnecessary ones. So I have chest, mending machines, launch pads, slurp trucks, slurp barrels, stuff like that, and I excluded everything else. That should be self-explanatory, but you know, it's whatever. So make sure you label your things, make sure you know where things at. There's also like a mending machine right here that they rotate to sometimes if it's not conned. And that's the main thing you want to do when you're looking for a loop path. It's just mainly looking to replays, checking how conned it is in your division, and checking multiple replays to make sure that how consistently conned or unconned it is, and that'll help you make your loop path to improve in tournaments, obviously. So that's going to be it for loop paths, and we're next going to be talking about drop maps. Now we're going to be talking about how to actually drop and when you should drop when you're playing tournaments. So basically, when you're going to be marking where you're going to, and just be looking at it where you're going to. Also, you can use the new aim thing to check like where the 80% chance red chests are. So you're going to wait for this meter to go down. As soon as it goes up, you're going to immediately jump out. And when you're dropping, making sure you have your head on the marker where you're landing at. Now we're just going to wait to glide. Wait to glide right here. And with this new season, you're probably going to want to free fall, and a certain time to free fall. Obviously, when you get closer to your drop, go like this, and you just tumble roll as soon as you go down, so you don't have to worry about fall damage. And that's how you get the best drop for each seat. That's how you get the best drop for the season's meta, and how to use the free fall correctly. What's good, boys? If y'all have made it this far, please comment down the word bananas. Make sure that y'all watch the video fully and thoroughly. And I really want to know if my information is getting out there. That's why I do like a comment of the day. So I really hope this information was pleasing to y'all. If y'all think there's anything I should talk about to explain more, or something that I haven't explained before, please leave that in the comments and I might make a video about that. Other than that, boys, I hope you have a great day today and continue on your Fortnite journey. And I hope this video helped with that. Good luck to y'all. Peace.